tabke doji shaji rizo to ji mede doji bonjo ba serjin Buddha buji shaji jo boja la cha lo mi ji balo ne zum sanje gu ni ngo ni razem chu gu zo donji zoi la mi jo la cha za lo chemje mi she da buji se ma yi she o ji mari mo ba se chu ji jo sab do gu juro be ga de shu ba da la cha za lo cha za wa da ji ja ba da ji se ra gu ji so ye ki wa ji da gi za ba ta ni da gi ja ji chen go 사실 보조 조심을 도도 저리지도 저도 선시의 미대보에 도남도실로 저브로 쇼 무슨 일은 제선보다 로이지라지라 와치도 못와이 최고로고도 소 good evening 大家好where So we are being very fortunate to be able to study this Uttaratantra Shastra, and the Uttaratantra Shastra main topic is Buddha nature. Buddha nature is explained by within 7 different subjects, or they are called 7 Vajra points. And among 7 of the Buddha, Dharma, Asanga, 3 above that we already did some studies. And now we are on the 4th, is the element or Tathagata Garbha, Buddha nature. And then this Tathagata Garbha, Buddha nature or element, Tibetan called Kam, that is explained within 10 points of explanation. And then the first, so the Tathagata Garbha, the Buddha has said that all beings have Buddha nature. If Buddha said that all beings have Buddha nature, and then how? What are the reasons that can be, reasoning? Can it be explained? What are the reasons? The Buddha's wisdom, right? Buddha Kaya is pervade or reach to all sentient beings. Buddha wisdom means all sentient beings has in their clear light mind, or Buddha nature mind, is also nature of the all sentient beings. And what is the second reason? Second reason is Buddha's nature and the sentient beings' nature. There's no they have the same kind of like a quality. They are in ultimate nature. They have exactly the same nature. And the third one is all sentient beings has a disposition, right? Some kind of similar dispositions. So those are the 3 reasons why all sentient beings have the Buddha nature. Then continuing from there, the element is explained within 10 points. 10 points of explanation. The first one is what? Essence, right? Essence. Essence is explained. Essence is explained with 3 examples: jewel, space, water. Essence of your Buddha nature. Yeah? What is your nature of really nature of mind? When you meditate and then you try to see your real nature of mind is since we don't have not correctly first of all introduced our nature of mind, and we don't know where to focus in. And if we are correctly, I think, introduced, then still because of this our usual habit of distraction, distract. Otherwise, the Buddha nature, clear light mind is all the time there, presence, all the time, all the time there. Then when we, so if we are able to sometimes meditate, be aware of that true nature, then it's that's the essence. Essence of that nature is pure all the time, pure. Same like a jewel. Jewel means like a gold. 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 Its nature. Its nature is always pure. But when the gold just found from underground, and then it's maybe it has what you call a stain, rusted. No, not really rusted. Some kind of stain, right? Yeah, soil. So you have to clean. When it's soil is removed, then its surface doesn't have any stain, and then it's become shiny, and then it's precious, and then it's actually here jewel is not gold, which fulfill jewel. It can give all the things that you want. So Dhammakaya, and the space is also pure stainless, and then that represents space is so pure, but at the same time never change. Yeah, even when it's cloudy, it's look like a space is polluted, but actually space cannot be changed. Even it's clouded or not clouded, it's the same thing, remains the same. So similar like that is our second one. First one is represent Dhammakaya. Second one is represents our space is Dhamma. That's Dhamma Dhatu, right? Dhamma Dhatu, or suchness of the sentient beings and or Buddha. All that is space, and the water. Water represents the dispositions. Dispositions provide to reach to all the sentient beings, has a disposition or rik. That so anyway, that essence is essence of Buddha nature is pure, purity, perfectly pure, all the time. So that is essence. Oh, so second point is the cause. Cause is cause that Buddha nature has such a cause aspect of that four different aspects of or qualities of Buddha nature is called cause because it's this cause purifies four different veils, and then Dhammakaya, or all the enlightenment qualities reveal. That's why it has four different four aspects of cause. First one is devotion. Second, prajna paramita, wisdom. Yeah, wisdom perfection, discriminating wisdom. And the third is samadhi, not only samadhi, but the immeasurable samadhi. And Bodhisattva's limitless samadhi. Samadhi means meditation. And then the fourth one is the compassion. So compassion, not only little compassion, but unconditional, compassionate love. Compassionate love. I think it is, yeah. So here, the love, compassion is almost same thing, yeah, compassion. This four things purifies four veils. Yeah. I don't know if you remember four veils. Somebody, how many? Four veils. Which are the four veils? Can you remember? Veils or obscurations. Four obscurations. Huh? Huh. Yeah. Resemble Mahayana. Yeah, Bodhisattva's teaching. Yeah. And then view of your grasping on the self, yeah. And then attached to the one side of the piece, yeah. And then no compassion. Yeah, no compassion. Oh yeah, those are the four. Become obscuration to achieve Dhammakaya. Here we are not talking about we are a group of people with Buddha, Uttaratantra followers. We are greater than others. So not like that. In Chinese tradition and Tibetan tradition, and also Thai tradition, all of them they have a Vinaya aspect. Earlier Buddhism, Buddha's ordinary, original teachings, earlier Four Noble Truths around from earlier part of the teachings, all of them have, right? So that's Vinaya, and that is so considered earlier Buddhism. Also, you're being a monk and or nun, or then it's own follower of Buddha. Then externally that Vinaya, following that system is. So they can. That is a part of Shravaka's practice. Yeah. So, but the Shravaka doesn't mean we are like a Tibetan or Chinese Mahayana, and then some others Shravaka, not saying like that. Group. Yesterday I mentioned also Buddhist teachings. Buddha himself said analyze. So we may analyze many different philosophical levels, different levels. That doesn't mean we are criticizing others or I'm better. We ourselves maybe not even reach to Shravaka, Pratyeka Buddha. Already they can get arhat, be free from samsara, right? We ourselves still stuck in samsara. We're not saying I'm better than the arhat. But here we are saying arhat has even arhat has this kind of obscurations. That is what is saying here is to achieve samyaka sambuddha, dhammakaya. Yeah. But when we are saying that, we are not saying I'm better than arhat. Arhat has obscuration. I don't have obscuration. I achieved dharmakaya. We are not saying that. I just wanted to say that. And then also these are the four veils to achieve dhammakaya. Yeah. But if oneself has bodhisattva's practice, especially in bodhicitta, relative aspects of bodhicitta, ultimate aspects of bodhicitta, inside sincere bodhicitta, then it can be considered oneself is Mahayana path. So then you obviously first obstacle you don't have. You have devotion. You have interest or admiration to the way of Bodhisattva's practice. So first one is you don't have first obstacle, yeah, removed already. And the second one is we kind of have a view like this self is some kind of permanent. Right now is permanent, and then its self is permanent. Some kind of something that very permanent, independent thing inside the body, and inside the mind. When right now, like we are having life, self, mind, body, all this together, having a life. When die, mind and the body is die, but then the self goes up or down or something. There still is some kind of permanent aspect. some kind of having this kind of self is anyway permanent or the truly kind of independent, substantial kind of self we grasp on, then that is obstacle of Dhammakaya, obscuration. But if we understood what Buddha says, no self and emptiness and like that, then the second obstacle is removed. And then after that we have, we of course wanted to be free from samsara, but then at the same time, we don't want to just stay in nirvana, a kind of peaceful state, but we wanted to benefit and spontaneously, in a spontaneous way, Buddha's activities to benefit the sentient beings. And so that's why not remaining in samsara, but not remaining in nirvana as well, free of two extremes. Not remaining peaceful state of nirvana, not remaining in a samsara, always suffering. So these are the two. So non-remaining Buddhahood is Samanyaka Buddha, right? I want to achieve that to benefit the sentient beings. So that kind of intention, motivation, strong, pure, sincere intention, then you become free from that third obstacle. Then that is all. That also included that fourth obstacle is the unconditional compassion, right? That is included actually in Bodhicitta. I wanted to achieve Buddhahood for benefit all beings. So like that then it become these four. When you first one is understanding and the practicing of Bodhisattvas way Mahayana teachings, and the second is the wisdom, understanding that no self and the emptiness, that is called prajna paramita, right? Wisdom, perfection. Yeah. And the third is samadhi, countless, immeasurable samadhi. Samadhi, not only peaceful state, like a shamatha state, not only shamatha state, but immeasurable, kind of blissful, and then clarity, and then there's so profound, then bodhisattva samadhi. Then that is not only abiding in a peaceful state, but there's, and then the fourth one is compassion, right? Great compassion. Okay, now continue from yesterday, where we left yesterday. Is page 121 in the bottom of that page. Those who succeed is devotion towards the supreme vehicle there. So if you with these four aspects of cause from your Buddha nature, then you can become heir or child of Buddha. Buddha has three different kind of child. Physical child. One child is born from Buddha, the physical, that is Rahula, right? And the one child is born from Buddha's speech. Those are the Buddha's disciples or Shravakas. Yeah. And then one child is born from Buddha's wisdom. And these are the Bodhisattvas. So here, if one who can remove or practice these four causes, for these causes, four aspects of these causes are measured or ripen in one's from one's Buddha nature, then one become because of that, then one become a son or daughter or child of Buddha. Yeah. Child of Buddha. This the Muni is Buddha. Muni is Shakyamuni. Yeah, Shakyamuni. Shakyamuni. So become a become Buddha. It's a similar example is like a Chakravati or conqueror, a monarch. Become a monarch has need four kind of a condition causes be able to become a monarch. Chakravati. First, the father has a seat. There's a child has a seat has to come from monarch father, right? And then the queen, born from a queen. The queen, and then the queen's womb, right? Womb, yeah. That womb, and then nurse. So king, then a queen, and the queens give that organ that give birth to a baby, nourishes baby. That is called womb, right? Womb, and then after born, then nursing, the nurse. So this four, then this small child of monarch, not yet monarch, but he has monarch power. He's a prince, small child, then it grows up. Similar like that, there's four other we just discussed. These are the like four examples. Similar like this example, then you become devotion to the teachings. Then what are the wisdom and the immeasurable samadhi, right? And then unconditional compassion. Or those you have, then you become a small prince of the son or daughter of the Shakyamuni Buddha. So that means you become Bodhisattva. Now, okay. Next is next. What is next? Next, we finish cause, and third one is fruit. Yeah, fruit. Yeah, and the fourth one is fruit. Huh? Function. Yeah. So it's kind of first this verse explains. First, briefly explains the function and the fruit together. Yeah. What means fruit is? Fruit is before that you have a cause, four aspects of a cause from our Buddha nature become active. Then we because from fruit of that cause is a fruit, right? Fruit, and the fruit is the perfection of the qualities of the purity, self, happiness, and permanence. Yeah, permanence. Wearing of the suffering and longing to attain peace, and devotion towards this the function. This then awareness of the suffering, or this first two stanza and then two lines explains the fruit, and the second two lines explains the function briefly, and then each of them we don't understand. Then continue read, then explains more in detail. So yeah, the Buddha's teachings of Buddha that inconceivable is amazing. That is wonderful is not good enough word for that. Yeah, so inconceivable, incredible. Buddha, this studies we are studying, like it's come from Asanga, and then such like Asanga, Buddha already given what do you call prophesied, prophet. Huh? What do you?
Like, I'm going to translate this.
Prophesied, right? The Buddha already mentioned about Asanga. There will be Asanga who is achieved third bhumi. Asanga is the Bodhisattva who achieved third bhumi. Third. I think Asanga is prophesied. Prophesied. Gambupa also prophesied. Gambupa also mentioned. Buddha Shakyamuni already mentioned. In the future, long future, there will be a person called Dao, youthful moon, and so on. Even in Jamgu, Kondu Lututai, I think is also prophesied. This is the book from Lututai, right? Gambupa, and then Asanga prophesied. There's a great one of the most important and great masters from India, Nalanda. It's called Lama Phurbu. What is it called in Sanskrit? I don't remember. Lama Phurbu. This is during Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna's student called Arya Deva. That time, this Lama Phurbu, he was a Tartika. You remember Tartika what? Tartika is non-Buddhist philosophical schools they belong to. And he was a very, very learned, great scholar, and he had millions of followers, very famous. And this Pao, that time his name is a different name. I don't remember the name in Indian. He's a great, the very famous master, has millions of followers. And then, during that time in India, a long time ago, and then they debate. If you debate, and then if you lose, the teachers, these philosophical teachers or religion teachers, they debate, and then if whoever lose, then he himself and including his followers, have to be converted to that winner's religion. So this Lama Phurbu, before he got this name, some another name, he is a Tathika teacher, very famous, and then he so debate with so many Buddhist monks and monasteries, and defeated all of them. Almost so many all this Buddhist converted to Tathika, non-Buddhist religion, converted. So the Nalanda become concerned. Now the Nalanda is the main center, right? Even he now finally reached to Nalanda, and then Nalanda monastery, university, to then start then defeating some of the Nalanda masters also. So then Nalanda sent a message to South India. Aryadeva was Nagarjuna was living in South India. Messenger to requested Nagarjuna to come. And Nagarjuna at that time was with Aryadeva was living with Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna said Nagarjuna decided to send Aryadeva instead of himself, go by himself. So trained Aryadeva to how to debate with this Tathika teacher. train. Then one day try to test. So you, how much he's doing, test. Then debate, with debate, discussion, debate. Because Nagarjuna is Deva's guru, he cannot challenge to the guru. Nagarjuna said, okay, it's since you cannot, because of this, you cannot. So let's put recall between this curtain, cut or curtain, cut. What do you call? Curtain.
I don't know. It's not my language.
What did you call, Jackson?
Gordena.
That one. Gordon?
It's Indonesian.
Gordon. So this anyway, there's a curtain, curtain, and then a debate. After that, debate, and then now Ayadeva was debating, challenging, asking questions, and Nagarjuna is answering questions. As the debate started going on, and Nagarjuna was so good at the other philosophical views, like a Tattika view. Nagarjuna about explaining about the Tattika view is even better than Tattika masters themselves. So somehow they and they got so excited, kind of agitated. He was almost cannot challenge. Nagarjuna is playing the role of the Tattika. Almost Ayandeva was got defeated, and then he got so excited, and then he debated, and then he thought it's a real Tattika. Nagarjuna was a real. He forgot his debating with the guru. He thought now he was debating with the real Tattika. So at that time, then he defeated Nagarjuna, and then he removed his shoes or something like that. Victory or something like that. So then Nagarjuna said, okay, calm down, it's just me, still. And then, but anyway, now you are ready to go. But because of you remove shoes and the victory, something like proclaimed victory, something like on your guru. So because of that, you will meet some obstacles on the way. But other than that, you are ready to defeat the Tattika. So Ayandeva went to, on the way journey from South India to Nalanda is very far. Went there, and then on the way he got somebody asking the one eye. He was a bodhisattva, so he gave one of eye to that beggar or something like that. So usually Ayandeva has only one eye. Or Nagarjuna chose the Ayandeva. Ayandeva was actually also not born, I think, not born as a human, not from mother's womb. I think maybe lotus born or something, I think. Ayandeva, so anyway, reached to the Nalanda, and almost the Nalanda people converted to Tattika, this and then that time, then so Ayandeva started to challenge, argue with. I'm going to make a story short now. With Tattika and this debate, and then finally this Tattika is defeated by this logical argument, philosophical argument defeated. And then after that, the Tattika says, still that's not good enough. Now the competition with superpower competition, and both of them they're like fly in the space like two rockets shooting from there. Somehow Ayadeva, again this with clear voice competitions, also again Ayadeva win. So he was defeated, and all his millions of his followers they converted to Buddhist, and he because of the same agreement, and he was put in a prison. And Nalinda prison means that's like they locked him in a library. So the library is prison, and in the library, actually the point when I want why I'm telling the story is in the library. Then this Tatika was then nothing to do. There are so many months and years, maybe at least many months. Put it in Nalinda library, so nothing much to do. But even he is not interested, don't want to read. But he read some of this Buddha's sutras, and then he encountered one sutra already prophesied. It is himself, that this person will come and then what happened and everything that mentioned in that sutra. So since then he got really, devotion, sincere devotion to Buddha, and then he sincerely converted to Buddha, and then he wrote many commentaries, and so that's why Buddhist historic. He became one of the most important masters, Lama Phurbu. So the reason I mentioned is so Buddha's the teachings are so incredible, inconceivable, like that. And when you read a sutra, then it can be similar, like story, like Lama Phurbu story is quite amazing. And also I wanted to just in between, I just wanted to tell you a short story. Maybe I thought all the time they're going just directly through the root text, maybe you get kind of feeling tense, too tense. So this is a little bit of entertainment. Aryan Deva. The Tatika actually told him, what do you call it? Harsh word, said harsh word. Said, oh, you one-eye monk. Said, now what can you do with the one-eye monk, new monk coming? Then Ayadeva says, the Brahman has 1,000 eyes, failed to see suchness of the suchness. But Ayadeva's one eye can see vividly suchness of everything. And then Tathega immediately thought, oh, this is not an ordinary monk, this will be tough. So this started from there.
Jadi Tirtika ya sempat melontarkan kata-kata kasar kepada Arya Dewa. Apa yang bisa dilakukan dengan biku yang hanya memiliki satu mata? Kemudian Arya Dewa menjawab bahwasanya para Brahma yang memiliki 1000 mata, namun mereka gagal untuk melihat realita yang sebenarnya. Hanya dengan satu mata ya, beliau bisa melihat ya, meskipun hanya satu mata, namun bisa melihat ya, saya memiliki hanya satu mata tapi bisa melihat realita yang sebenarnya atau sifat dasar yang sebenarnya. Kemudian ketika berpikir, wah ini bukan biku biasa ya, pasti sulit untuk dikalahkan.
Oh, 1,000 eyes that God has, Indian God has possessed 1,000 eyes. Brahma or Vishnu, I'm not sure. Maybe Vishnu. Brahma or Vishnu, I'm not sure.
Oh, Vishnu.
Yeah, Vishnu. Anyway, this doesn't matter, yeah. So here, there's the story just for entertainment. Now let's continue from now we are fruit, right? Fruit is, so why we are saying essence, cause and fruit, what it means is we're talking about the Buddha nature. nature, your nature, right? Your Buddha nature. Everybody has Buddha nature, our nature, our true nature for oneself, So that Buddha nature, yeah. This Buddha nature has this essence, right? Essence. And then this Buddha nature's cause aspect. And then now this Buddha nature's fruit aspect. What is the cause aspect? That are four, right? Mentioned. And then what are the fruit aspect? It has also fruit aspects. Fruit aspects purity. Four different purity. Yeah. Being true purity, true self, true happiness, and true permanence. These are the four true. Okay, that's briefly mentioned, and the later will explain more explanation what means purity, purity, self, happiness, and permanence. Then a second on page 122 at the last stanza. Yeah, this is stanza, and it's the way to eliminate whatever is incorrect. Thus needs to be abandoned. So this purity, but the purity that is that this fruition is in Buddha nature. The Buddha nature has this purity aspect of this fruition, but for many different types of sentient beings, this fruition is defiled or obscured by also this opposite thing. Opposite thing. That is the opposite thing. What is opposite thing is we are like as children. In Buddhist Buddhist term, Dharma term, some of them they call ordinary beings, ordinary people. Yeah, ordinary people are called childish people, childish children. They are like ordinary people are like a child. They are childish. Anyway, children means ordinary people. Yeah, ordinary people view their Buddha nature, Dhammakaya as Dhammakaya, but then they're grasping on Dhammakaya something in a wrong way. The Dhammakaya, the Buddha nature, Buddha nature to them appears then as mind, body, aggregates like that, right? Then they cling, this body and mind, all that aggregates in a way they are grasping, clinging on that as like a purity, purity. Something has like meaningful, and we cling on our aggregates, right? And then we purity. What's purity? Self. Then we as ordinary being, we grasp on self. So that is almost like 24 hours. We cannot have a vacation from grasping of self. All the time they are like 24 hours, no gap. Self-grasping. Self. And then we grasp as believe some kind of like a happiness. This whole thing, then there's samsara thing, right? This happiness, happiness is we are mistaking suffering. Actually, it's a suffering, like pervasive suffering. 3 types of suffering, right? Suffering usually Buddhist was some kind of a way cling as happiness, and then permanence. Most everything, including one's self, is we view cling as some kind of like permanence. So these are the ordinary beings view like that. Then that is a wrong view to understanding Dhammakaya and suchness. Wrong view. Then Shravaka, Yana, yeah. Buddha's disciple, of one type of Buddha's disciples. Shravakas comes, then saying the ordinary beings, that is wrong. So instead of purity, it's impurity. Everything, the meditation, we have even a meditation in many sutras. You meditate, body is impure and everything is impure, right? There's nothing to attach, cannot attach. Even like ugliness, meditation there's. So everything is impurity. And then impurity and suffering. All that is 3 types of suffering, right? Everything that we're clinging, suffering, and impermanence, and no self, suffering, impermanent. Shravakas mentioned. So here, then after that, in this some of Buddha's sutras, later part of Buddha's sutras, meaning is even that is also still has to go beyond. So first, the ordinary beings grasping that way purity and self, happiness, permanence. That is a wrong view to understanding of a reality already. And then after Shravaka view, opposite of that, impurity, no self, suffering and impermanence. Also wrong view, wrong understanding of Dhammakaya, suchness, ultimate reality suchness is that is also suchness is not that also. Then suchness goes beyond that, beyond the purity and impurity, beyond self and no self, beyond happiness and suffering, beyond permanence and impermanence. So that name is named true purity, is beyond purity and impurity. Beyond self and no self is true self. True self, true purity, true happiness, and true permanence. So this Dhammakaya, your Buddha nature has nature or that has aspect of purity. Purity is true purity. The true purity and the true self and the true happiness and the true permanence. So why we call it's a true purity and true and so on. And then there's continue this next verse explains about that. Okay, then if we read 123 page and there's the stanza root text, then we see it's quite clear the reason why it is true purity and true self and so on. The first is true purity. It's Dhammakaya is true purity because the Dhammakaya is purity. Since its nature is pure, since nature is pure from primordial, right? From beginning, it's stainless, right? Last time we many times encountered that that statement. Dhammakaya is pure from beginning. Even the remaining imprints are fully removed, but some kind of like a temporary obscuration, like a klesha and so on, they're temporary. That is also when Dhammakaya is achieved, that is removed, right? If first of all, its nature is purity, and the second of all, there's some kind of temporary stain, but the date is removed. So now is totally purity. So that's why it's called true purity. Not like a purity we sentient beings, we think our body, mind, all that is purity, some kind of way attached like, but not that kind of purity, but it's true purity, Dhammakaya. Yeah? And it is a true self. Then second is it is a true self because since all conceptual elaboration in terms of self and no self is totally stilled. Self and no self, all that is conceptual elaboration, but in the Dhammakaya itself it goes beyond self. It's not self, some kind of substantial permanent self, but it is not no self like some kind of a nothingness or some kind of like a dead zone, no self. There's a clarity aspect there, right? So it's goes beyond non-dual self and no self. And then that is called true self, yeah. And this true self in terms of the fear. It is true happiness. Why it is true happiness? Because since the aggregates of mental nature and their causes are reversed. The mental aggregate is ceased, no more there. We usually suffer as long as we have mental aggregate active, I think. Then there's all kind of anxiety and fear and pain and feeling and grasping and all that comes, and then it's of course you cannot be happy and experience blissful because all that is creates suffering. But it has no, since mental, the nature, the aggregate, mental aggregate nature is causes reversed klesha, all that is reversed. It is that's why it's true happiness, blissful state with awakened, clear light mind. Yeah. And it is permanence. It's called permanence because since the cycle of existence and the state beyond pain are realized as one. So since it's permanence because it's not samsara and nirvana, or that goes beyond samsara and nirvana. It's not a samsaric thing, it's not a nirvana thing as well. So it's goes beyond samsara and nirvana. Then it's since it has a permanent, Buddha Dhammaka is permanent because it doesn't has being born, old age, sickness, death as beginning and the middle and the end, and it's changing. All that is also depending on cause and condition. All that is all that kind of qualities. I'll say it doesn't has these qualities, so that's why it's called permanence, but not permanence like space, or not permanent something like that. What's say some kind of entity, But because of that, this aspect, then it's called permanence, pure, true permanence. Yeah. Last one. How much did you explain?
Whole, but like
Oh.
confused.
Oh, okay. This it's quite a
Sampai lauk semua.
no, not very difficult. Intellectually we can understand, but directly experience is then we have to have awakened mind. We have to go through accumulating lots of sonamanda ishe. Then, but just intellectual imagination is not that difficult. Buddha's Dhammakaya is pure because it's pure from or originally itself is pure. Our nature of pure mind is originally an ultimate aspect is pure, right? Relative aspect that klesha, that when we reach to Dhammakaya, that klesha is removed. So now is pure, first part. And second aspect is, what is second aspect? Self. Self is, because it's not self like the way we grasp, but it's not no self like some kind of nothingness, but there's a clarity, Dhammakaya. It goes beyond self and no self. So that's why we call true self. Yeah, true self. But that is not the way the original people, ordinary people, grasping self. This beyond to go self and no self. Then it's called the true self. And then what is the third? Happiness. Yeah, happiness, blissful. Happiness is then this happiness is not as we ordinary being think happiness. What we attach to happiness is actually not happiness. That is, according to Bodhisattvas and Buddha's level, it's a suffering. Even our happiness that we think happiness, that is a suffering. That is called suffering of change and pervasive suffering, right? Especially suffering of change. Yeah. Anyway, also suffering it doesn't has also as it goes beyond both this kind of illusional happiness and suffering. It has a true then blissful aspect of that mind, that mental, who that illusion mind is seized, then there's no sufferings existed in Dhammakaya aspect. So it's no suffering, then it's happiness, and true happiness. Yeah. Yeah. I think maybe even arhats has this. The arhats become free from all the mental, this klesha. But I think still they have this mental aggregate. I think in Dhammakaya that is also seized. All the mental that illusion is seized. Then the purity of that clear-light mind is called Dhammakaya, right? Yeah. And the Korwa, okay, then the last one is permanent, right? Permanent. Yeah, permanent. Then this Dhammakaya is the Dharmakaya is achieved. Then Dharmakaya, that is not a composite thing, and not then it's so it's beyond then impermanent and permanent. Beyond goes beyond. Impermanent is something that I think, right? And permanent also actually I think, but this is not a thing, and it goes beyond. This is ultimate suchness, absolute truth, and then it's not a thing. Then it goes beyond permanent and impermanent, and but at the same time, this Dhammakaya has a continuation of two benefits. Benefit oneself and benefit others, right? So that aspect is called permanent. That two benefits forever, then it's never change. It's continuous. Repeat it again. I don't know if it's any better.
I'm sweating already.
Okay, page 125, this next stanza. This continue explain of a result. If one result achieved a result of that four true, true purity, true self, true happiness, and true permanence that achieved, then at the same time you free from two extremes. So here is simply saying freedom from true extreme. True extreme is or two remaining on a two kind of like remaining on in samsara or in nirvana. So if remaining in samsara, this through the Bodhisattva way and achieved Samyaka Sambuddha, then cannot be remaining in samsara because their wisdom, yeshe, that wisdom is perfected. Yeah, Prajna Paramita, that understands knows this their wisdom that knows of and so on. So klesha cannot function, and if no klesha, no karma, then samsara cannot be existed. Doesn't remain in samsara. But then they doesn't remain in a cessation, peaceful state peaceful state also. They don't remain in a peaceful state in a nirvana, kind of a peaceful state of nirvana also, because they have because of the unconditional compassion. Not saying that Shravaka or Arhat, others not have compassion. They have great compassion. But when we say compassion, means Bodhisattvas, Buddha and Bodhisattva compassion is then greater than the unconditional kind of. Like such Bodhisattvas vow, like such Avalokiteshvara, until samsara is empty, then I'm going to work for the welfare of sentient beings, right? Such commitment. And even just one single being to liberate, I will walk kalpas. For us is, we have some compassion, 1 hour help everything. Forget about that. Pissed off, with 1 hour helping. Not a kalpa, right? You're just one sentient being. So doesn't mean we don't have compassion, we have a little bit of compassion. And then Shravakas, the Buddha disciples, of course, greater than the way greater than us, like an ordinary person. Our compassion, they have compassion. But here, why we are saying compassion is Bodhisattva's compassion. Such Bodhisattva's compassion, that is, this compassion is what? Now I lost.
Oh, done. Gantung.
I got lost. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's see, translate.
Jadi kemudian kita masuk tadi sudah bagian tadi kita ngomong apa ya?
Don't do that. That is very bad. If I got lost, you got lost there. Okay, so that is important to be clear. Yeah? Otherwise, we kind of ourselves like I am the great Buddhist. So here is actually is a symbol because of the wisdom that is not the wisdom that is special discriminating wisdom or yeshe. Yeah? Because of yeshe, that share prajna paramita wisdom. With this wisdom, then the samsara is destroyed. No more samsara. You have this wisdom, then samsara is samsara disappeared. Samsara cannot function. No more samsara. But then no more samsara, then you could stay in a peaceful state of, a blissful state of cessation. But you don't stay there because of the unconditional, that compassion. So then what happens is you achieve the non-remaining nirvana, is called. Nirvana, labitingi nirvana, samyaka sambuddha. Then samyaka sambuddha nirvana, non-remaining nirvana achieve. So that is That is basically the meaning of this stanza is just like that. Oh, so there was explaining from page 124, right? 24 we read, if the Buddha element not present. Sorry, that was the meaning of the 24, yeah? Stanza, the analytical wisdom has caught, yeah. And then now we are on page 25, right? 125, the function. Okay, fruit is finished, yeah, finally. And then now is the function. Function is easier. So Buddha nature, what Buddha nature has like a function aspect being what causes attainment. Explanation of the disposition's function by means of the contrary. So contrary means what if what if we don't have Buddha nature? You know, what if you don't have Buddha nature? What happens? You will never have remorse or you will never have sadness towards suffering. You will not have a problem of suffering actually. And you will never have intention to achieve nirvana. You don't have the nirvana, and then you don't have any kind of, you will not strive, make effort to achieve nirvana, and you will not have any devotion towards nirvana or dhammakaya. That's why. So if that you don't have Buddha, but that is a contrary part, but it's not like that because of that next stanza explains. Because of we have Buddha nature, then the function of Buddha nature, then that with regard to existence and nirvana, they are respectful fruits and qualities are seen. That suffering is seen as the fault of existence. Yes, suffering is, we see suffering is in a fault of, in samsara is a suffering. Samsara is negative because there is a suffering, and the suffering, naturally we don't like suffering. Then why we don't like suffering? Because of Buddha nature. True nature of ourself is enlightenment and happiness. Is not the suffering. If suffering is the true nature of ourself, then also we shouldn't be problem sufferings. So that's with suffering is seen as a fault existence, and the happiness. Then we all longing to happiness, and the greatest happiness is nirvana, right? Nirvana. So we wanted to longing to achieve nirvana. That is also because of a function of Buddha nature. Stems from the presence of the disposition of Buddhahood. Why so? In those who are the devote of disposition, such thing does not occur. Those who don't have this Buddha nature disposition, then they don't have such a, they don't scare, they don't kind of how to say, they don't have a sense of I wanted to be free from suffering. They kind of just stuck in samsara. And then also they don't have a kind of intention to attain nirvana or be free from samsara. Those they don't have disposition, which means all sentient beings has a disposition. But here, when it's saying such don't have, means their dispositions are not ripened. It's hidden, yeah. So hidden so far, they're not interested. And then like yourself is already, your disposition is ripened. And that's why you come to Dharma class and then you study and you practice. That is ripened disposition. But all sentient beings has the same disposition, but many sentient beings dispositions hidden, not ripened, so it's far away, more further to achieve Dharmakaya. But that doesn't mean they will not achieve forever. Okay, this much enough for today. And if you have questions, one or two questions.
Jadi cukup untuk hari ini, 1-2 pertanyaan dipersilahkan.
The next time, tomorrow, and you have a holiday, huh? Few days holiday, and the next Monday, don't try not to miss. These sessions I forgot to read reading transmission long, yeah? So next session I'll read all that long reading transmission that previous sessions we finished. I will read long of those from the root text.
Jadi besok dan beberapa hari ke depan ya kita libur ya, dan hari Senin kita kembali masuk dan berusaha untuk tidak melewati kelas ini. Jadi beberapa sesi sebelumnya Rinpoche lupa untuk membaca transmisi untuk kita. Jadi nanti akan dibacakan pada hari Senin untuk sesi yang sudah kita lewati kemarin.
Have questions? Please feel free to ask questions, 1 or 2 questions.
Ada pertanyaan, 1-2 pertanyaan.
Jackson.
In every teaching, always give examples, so we are easier to understand. So, from the beginning of today's class, of the essence part, we know the three, right?
Yeah.
The wish fulfilling germ, the sky, and the water. The wish fulfilling germ is represented by Dhammakaya. The sky represented by Dhammadhatu, and water represented by what?
Disposition. Yeah. What is disposition? So this three is all is Dhammadhatu, Deshin. Yeah. When first is more like Dhammakaya aspect, yeah. Second is Dhammadhatu because it's pure and impure both aspect, and then there's the last one is water is disposition and compassion. Purity, about the essence.
Jadi pertanyaan Jason tadi, air kan ada permata pengabul harapan, kemudian ada ruang atau angkasa dan ada air. Jadi air itu mewakili apa gitu kan? Rinpoche menjawab air dalam bagian bab esensi itu mewakili kecenderungan atau persamaan.
One more question. Kartika, have a question? Everything clear, yeah? No question. Very clear. Yeah, Felix. Yeah.
So on the third aspect root, you mentioned that the reality of Dharmakaya is beyond purity and impurity, and beyond permanence and impermanence, and so on. So from my point of understanding, so on our practice, we should not focus on which one is impure, which one is pure, which one is not impure, like that. So if it's beyond that, like how, because it's inconceivable.
Here is this part is not really explaining about how to practice or how we should think of when we're practicing. This part is just explaining what is Dhammakaya, really nature of Dhammakaya. The fruition is Dhammakaya, right? Samyaka Sambuddha, highest level Buddhahood or awakened mind, enlightenment mind that you achieved. And when you achieve, then what is that? That is purity, and that is happiness. That is called self, but self means it's not nothingness. It has a clarity aspect. It's not like nothingness, but the self, not like Buddha already mentioned beginning, no self. Of course, we cannot. If something in the end, Buddha said there is a self, then it would be wrong, right? That kind of self is because self is the only term. That's why it goes beyond. That's why this, especially this term in this text, many of these scholars and masters, this is interpreted as not definitive meaning, interpretive meaning. It's not really real like that. But in Janang Taranatha, and so on, some of the great masters, they took it as a literal, definitive meaning. Buddha says this self, Dhammakaya is pure self, permanent, and happiness. And literally they said. And then many in Tibet, they are scholars, from especially I think Gelug side of many scholars, and many other different philosophical sects, scholars and those masters, commentators, also criticized often Jana Taranathas, literally saying Dhammakaya is self and such permanent and so on. How that cannot be. That is against Nagarjuna, Madhyamika aspect. Everything said emptiness, no self, right? And how can be there self? No, then also in Four Noble beginning part of the Four Noble Truth clearly talks about everything is impermanent, right? And so on. So against like that. But here is then Janggo Konto Lodotai also explains, actually it's not a contradiction. Taranatha saying self is self and no self goes beyond suchness. Ultimate Dhammakaya is, of course, it's not self like ordinary beings we grasp some kind of self, Of course not that. That is the cause of the samsara. But of course then no self, then we think some kind of nothingness or some kind of like nothing, totally absolutely nothing. There's no yeshe also, no wisdom also, no wisdom aspect. It's like nothing, totally like nothing, become nothing. Then that is also not like they're totally nothing. There is a clarity aspect of the Dhammakaya. And then that's why it goes beyond self and no self. Then it's called the purity self. But it's the only term used the self, but it's not really like a self, just a self used. And as well as this, then purity, pure, is we grasping on this aggregates as impurity. That is, impurity is also just because of grasping. In reality, impure is not existed, and pure is also impurity. Anyway, Dhammakaya is free from this klesha and obscuration, so it's purity like that. Anyway, this is all talking. Explanation is about Dhammakaya. What is Dhammakaya? And then Dhammakaya is that Dhammakaya clear light mind. Yeah. If right now we have a hidden way in our essence is also Dhammakaya. That's what we call Buddha nature. When our that klesha and obscuration is removed, then we achieve Dhammakaya. That Dhammakaya is not coming from somewhere outside, or not something that newly produced, but it's has been there for forever from a beginningless time, and then now only different is this obscuration, temporary obscuration is removed. Now we so it's experienced the Dhammakaya, our Dhammakaya. Then that Dhammakaya is they doesn't has then it doesn't die, reborn, old age, and all that sickness, all that doesn't has, and it's forever. Then has a continuation of what the two benefits. So in that sense, it's called permanent, but not like that. But anyway, the answer to your question is not. It's not suggesting we should kind of meditating think something impermanent, also purity, no purity, something like that. Here is only description of Dhammakaya. If kind of like if we imagine, that's the best way can be described in words. But of course, still Dhammakaya cannot be really described by words. Before we saw the inconceivable, right? Yeah. But so this is something like that. Yeah. It's that's a fruit, right? Fruition, fruit. But in what we generally we try to think is a cause, right? Cause. There's four aspects: devotion to teachings, and then meditation and the wisdom, right? Wisdom and the compassion. These are the four we practice, and then achieve a result. Is this four true things, four purity, four what true things. Yeah, that is the Dhammakaya aspect. Generally one thing, but in somehow some like maybe in some Tantra practice, then in Tantra practice, then sometimes the Tantra is imagining the result, usually Dhammakaya, kind of meditating on Dhammakaya and so on, the result itself, wisdom to practice, kind of this result aspect is used on path for practice, imagining Dhammakaya and so on. So that's what then you achieve Dhammakaya, actually, using the result as a path to achieve that result. That's why I call Vajrayana is sometimes called a resultant yana. And the Sutra yana is called causal yana, and the Tantra yana is called resultant yana. Sutra yana is a focus on cause. Cause, what is the cause to achieve Dhammakaya? 6 paramitas, right? 6 paramita, practice 6 paramita. Focus on the cause. But sometimes Tantra is a skillful method to use the, like you visualize yourself as Avalokiteshvara there. Actually you are visualizing yourself as enlightened, that Dhammakaya aspect, Samugakaya aspect, and so on. Also sometimes you if you're a great yogi, practitioner, there's purity and no purity. This kind of concept is already free. There doesn't have purity, impurity, good, bad, attachment, hatred. All that is transcend this great accomplished masters, practitioners, Tantra practitioners. So then in that aspect, actually like a result, the term is practicing, I think also. Purity, impurity, all that is transcend. But that is here from for our beginners, not suggesting to kind of practice like seeing like that. That is not what it's saying. Here is just explaining what is Dhammakaya. Okay, thank you everyone. See you next time.